Altergeist cards as well.
What is going on, guys? Ro TCG here, bringing the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. You all voted for it, and here I am responding. Here is Altergeist. This deck is pretty neat. It is a trap-focused deck that requires brain power, I know. Very rare. But this deck basically relies on this one individual card, Altergeist Multi-Faker, and its interaction with trap cards, being when you activate a trap, you can special it from hand and then special summon an Altergeist from your deck in order to pair with all the other Altergeist cards in order to make like an unstoppable value engine, as well as long as you can prevent your opponent from making a play, you are winning the game. Which kind of is all trap decks in a sense. But with Altergeist, how it kind of functions is every time you interact with your opponent in a meaningful way, you are also gaining resources for yourself to put them even more at a disadvantage. So that's enough yapping of the overall deck profile. Let us go into the individual card by card. Starting off, we are on triple Altergeist Marionetter. When it's normal summon, we can set an Altergeist trap directly from our deck. We can target one Altergeist card we control and one Altergeist monster in our graveyard. Send the card on field to the graveyard. If we do, special summon that other monster from our graveyard. Really great. You only have to select an Altergeist card to send to the graveyard, so we can select a trap or something. And it can bring back monsters. So just incredibly strong. You can even target itself and send it to the graveyard in order to bring something else out. Just really trading one thing out for another to get value is incredible. And that normal summon effect is not a once per turn. If we can find a way to summon it multiple times per turn, we can get multiple sets. Although we are only playing 3 Altergeist traps in the deck, so there's only so much value that can really get to us. We are on triple Altergeist Multi-Faker. If we activate a trap card except during the damage step, we can special summon this card from our hand. If this card is special summoned, we can special summon one Altergeist monster from our deck in defense position except for itself. We can't summon monsters the rest of the turn. We activate the effect except for Altergeist monsters. And we can only use each effective Multi-Faker once per turn. But that's all good because this card is insane. Anyone who played in toss format knows that infinite impermanence on your own turn, if you didn't know what deck you were playing against, sometimes it just kind of meant that you might have just put yourself in an unlosable position, or an unwinnable position rather, because they impermed, and then on resolution they go Altergeist Multi-Faker, to then special summon itself, and then special summon another Altergeist. I don't know, maybe for example a Silquitas, which when we go over you'll understand how good that is. It's not just the imperm that you need to be worried about, it's everything else that they just did as well, because they're setting up their future turns and everything while putting up more interaction against you. So Multi-Faker is incredible, and at 3, I think it's necessary. We're on triple Altergeist Meloseek. If this card can attack directly, when it attacks and inflicts battle damage to your opponent, we can target a card they control and send it to the graveyard, so non-destruction removal. It does target, but that's fine. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. We can accept Meloseek, and we can use each effective Meloseek once per turn. That's completely fine. We normal summon Meloseek, we can link it off to go into Almirage, and then, keep popping off. This is a great card to send to the graveyard with Marionetter in order to get that extra assertion to bring something else back. It's also a great card to bring back with Marionetter, because then we can just link it off for link material and then use it when it goes to the graveyard again. But although it is a once per turn, so we do have to kind of time that out. We are on 2 of this newer card, 2 Altergeist Malwisp. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing, you can special summon it. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target an Altergeist monster in our graveyard except for Malwisp and special summon in defense position. Oh my god, this deck has a Poplar! You can't activate its effects, and we can use each effect of Malwisp once per turn. So this obviously works incredibly well with Meloseek. We go normal summon Meloseek, link it off for an Almirage, Meloseek effect, add Malwisp, Malwisp special back the Meloseek, and then we can go into a link 2. So this card is really good. We're running 2 just because I fear God, and if we open it, it doesn't really do all too much, so we're just running the second one to make sure it's always live. Run 1, Altergeist Pukuri. This is just a searchable card. It's a once per duel, so I'm just choosing to run 1, and I don't think it's necessarily too high value. If an Altergeist monster you control, we use this link material for an Altergeist monster. If this card's in your hand, it can also be used as link material. You use this effect of Pukuri once per turn. Once per turn, if an Altergeist link monster is link summoned to your field while this card's in your graveyard, we can add it to the hand. Just really great stuff. That effect to add to hand is a once per duel, but it's just a way to get free resources when you do game actions that you were already going to do. Now, finally, here's Altergeist Silquitas. Quick effect. We can turn another Altergeist you control to the hand, then target one card our opponent controls, return it to the hand. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, target an Altergeist trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand. You see how insane this is? We link it off, we get a trap. We special summon this off of Multi-Faker, or the moment our opponent ends turn phase, like back row or a monster we want to remove, we activate this, remove it, and then we put the Multi-Faker back into our hand so we can use it again next turn. So that's what I was saying about the resources. We just keep reusing our Multi-Faker and just get an advantage off of it. And last, we run one Conquery. This is kind of like an attack negation. It's also a way to play our access code, so just a good card to play one of. I would like to not play it, but it does help too much for it to not be included. We're on triple personal spoofing, technically a non-Altergeist card, but it mentions Altergeists. Once per turn, you can shuffle one Altergeist card from your hand or face of the field into the main deck. Add one Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. If you didn't know, if we add Altergeist Multi-Faker from this, we can immediately activate that Multi-Faker, special summoning it in another Altergeist, making personal spoofing really, really good. We are on double Altergeist protocol. The activation effects of Altergeist cards activated on your field cannot be negated. So really great way to guarantee everything goes through. When your opponent activates a monster effect, we can send one other face-up Altergeist card we control to the graveyard, negate the activation if we do destroy it. Again, another negation is insane. We're on one Altergeist manifestation. We can target an Altergeist monster in our graveyard, special summon an attack position, and if we do equip it with this card, when this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard, trigger an Altergeist trap in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. Just a card that we can use to just bring back cards, like for example, a used Silk, or even like a Meliseek to get an extra advantage. This also is a way to get back traps from the graveyard. It's just another Altergeist trap name. Next, we're on one Altergeist Revitalization. We can target an Altergeist Link monster in our graveyard, special summon it, and you can banish this card from your graveyard. Immediately after the effect resolves, normal summon an Altergeist monster. So we can banish it from the graveyard to immediately normal summon a monster, which can trigger Marionetter again, as well as this just being an additional Altergeist trap, which can bring back Hextia, which is a negate. Is just, I feel like this card is able to make the cut, because I know in these sort of decks, oftentimes, this is pretty much the standardized trap lineup for the Altergeist cards, but this one is not standard, at least from my knowledge this isn't standard, so I do think this card is a little bit worth it, especially given the deck's new aptitude for Link summoning on turn 1 with the Malwisp. We're on Triple Pot of Prosperity because we don't really need our extra deck too much, and this is just a way to find the cards that we need to see. One Call by the Grave for hand traps, double Ice Dragon's Prison. I think this card is very good this format, specifically against Snake Eye. We can target their Requiem in graveyard. When they use Requiem effect to attach it on to equip it onto Fiendsmith. Special the Requiem and banish both the Requiem and the Fiendsmith, giving them no materials to go into the Link 2. So that's just my thoughts on this. I also think it's very good against Snake Eye. We can target the Flamberge, target what the Flamberge is going to be summoning, and just use it like that as well. One Rivalry of Warlords, everything, single card in our main deck, Altergeist-wise and extra deck Altergeist-wise are all spellcasters, so that works out for us. Triple Solemn Judgment, Triple Solemn Strike, we're a trap deck, these worked well. Triple Ash Blossom, and Triple Infinite Impermanence. And for our extra deck, we are on double Almirage, like I mentioned previously, works great with Meliseek, specifically, now that Link Kuriboh is banned. Triple Altergeist Hextia, 2 Altergeist monsters are needed to make it. It's a fire, Promethean Princess target. Gains attack equal to the original attack of each Altergeist monster it points to. When a spell, trap, card, or effect is activated, quick effect tribute an Altergeist monster this card points to. Negate the activation if you destroy that card. If this card is sent from the field to graveyard, you can add one Altergeist card from your deck to your hand. You can use the second effect of Altergeist Hextia once per turn. So the negation is not once per turn. So if we can utilize our revitalization and go, I don't know, Hextia, tribute Hextia to negate a thing, and then Revitalization to bring back the Hextia, so it's pointing to the other one, and then we can go the Hextia to get another spell trap. So, just really interesting things that can be done with this archetype. We're on double SP Little Knight. This format superstar works really great with Almirage and Malwisp specifically. One Selene, Queen of Master Magicians, spellcaster deck. This can come up. One Altergeist Prime Banshee. This recently had a sellout. 2+ Altergeist monsters during the main phase. Quick effect, we contribute one other Altergeist monster, special summon an Altergeist monster from our deck to a zone this card points to. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, we can target an Altergeist card in our graveyard and add it right back to our hand. Banshee is very good, although it is a Link 3, so it's a little harder to get to. But we are running just one, since we aren't running Extravagance, we can always guarantee this will stay in the extra deck, just to use it for if we do ever choose to make it. We're on double access code Talker for OTKs and removal of cards that are already face up on field, something this deck kind of struggles a little bit with. 2 Altergeist Memory Gant. It needs 2+ Altergeist monsters. During the battle phase, quick effect, we can tribute one other monster. This card gains attack with that tribute its monster's attack on field. When this card destroys a monster by battle, we can destroy one monster our opponent controls, and if you do, this card can make a second attack in a row. If this card would be destroyed, we can banish one monster from our graveyard instead. We can use each effect of Altergeist Memory Gant once per turn. The any monster is really convenient, but unfortunately we do have a majority Altergeist in the deck. Main targets that we would like to banish is going to be like Ash Blossom and Summon Great Almirage to turn off our opponent's Heat of the Fire, Charmer Ablaze. It's just, they're non-Altergeist, so it's easier to banish those. But this is a neat tool to OTK if we don't want to go to access code, or we don't have access to go to access code because we rival lead ourselves. And then lastly, new card, PogChamp, new card. We're on double Altergeist at Mina, and he's 2+ Altergeist. If this card's Link Summon, we can send Altergeist Trap directly from our deck. So just another way to get another Altergeist Trap, especially if we already used Marionette in the turn, and we don't have a way to get an additional normal summon. Once while this card's face up on the field during the main phase quick effect, you can send one card you control to the graveyard, target one effect monster your opponent controls, and take control of that target, and if you do, it's treated as an Altergeist. So really great. It's mind control on legs on a quick effect. Just having to send a card we control is just incredible. This card is probably one of the better boss monsters of the archetype. If we can end on it, this would be optimal. Although we can also just end on the old Altergeist board of spoofing protocol, like 2 traps and a multi-faker in hand, and call it good, because that's also a lot of interaction points against an opponent who might not be ready. And people might not be ready about this strat, it's just because it's aged so much. A lot of people aren't really too aware of what Altergeist do anymore, unlike in like 2020, 2019, when it was very rampant, or even in 2021 after Marionette went from 1 to 3. The deck didn't honestly really do too much other than the Pro Play Games tournament, I believe. But I think this deck is very neat, and I feel like if people are looking to play a slower, I don't want to say more consistent, a slower, more grindy, a more methodical game, then Altergeist is, I think, the deck for you. And if you want to control the game state, Altergeist is very good at doing so. I just want to cover a couple more cards on the side just before we end off the video. There's always Secret Village of the Spellcasters. This is always an available option with Rainbow Bridge of the Road, because these are all Spellcasters, so we can lock our opponents out. As well as Evenly Matched in the side deck, I feel like is very good in this archetype, because if we go Evenly Matched on Resolution, we can go Multi-Faker, and they will pretty much have one card, and we get to resolve a Multi-Faker and end on 2 cards on our battle phase. So that's about it for the deck profile. I think this deck is very cool, and I would like to see other people trying it out. I think there's a lot of stuff to be doing with the list, and I just think the deck is pretty cool overall. Shout out to Doug Zeef, and I'll be seeing you all later. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanted to talk to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like yourself, I would highly recommend checking out our Discord server. Link is going to be in the description, as well as the QR code on screen. We do talk somewhat frequently about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the current meta, so I would really enjoy to see you there. As well as we do recently now have channel memberships available on our YouTube channel, where we have 3 different tiers. We have Super Supporter at $2 a month, where you get loyalty badges, emojis, guaranteed comment responses, a shout out at the end of every video, as well as access to the members only Discord channel, where you get early sneak peeks at future videos. There is the Giga Supporter at $5 a month, where you have early access to all new videos about a day or 2 before they go up, as well as all the previous offers. And for $15 a month, we do have our final tier, which is going to be Femboy Fanatic. You get a guaranteed customized video every single month, as well as 1 hour of my time. Could be for anything you'd like. You want a duel? Absolutely. You want me to help build a deck? Absolutely. You want to play some Helldivers? Sure. I'll do anything for an hour once a month. But supporting does help me out quite a lot, and it does help me produce all of these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye-bye.